I know to you it might sound strange. I wish it could rain. I wish it could rain, rain, rain. Shot him up good going through my neighborhood. All right, all right, all right. Got this shit right here. Shot him up good going through my neighborhood. May the power of blue argonite propel you. May the power of blue argonite propel you. Give you that thunderbolt energy, baby. Give you the power to cut through ignorance. The virgin cuts through ignorance. Puts the motion out there. Ooh, that was a good catch. Puts that motion out there to cut through the ignorance, to give you the power of the thunderbolt. I'm gonna repeat something I said before. Um, there's times I play with this bowl and I just hit it like this, and this bowl actually, Doctor Strange, when the Ancient One knocks him out his body, it's times where I've hit these tones, and this tone will actually, push me out of my body. And I say that anyone can do this, but if you're not having success meditating, something like this could be helpful. Um, where you just hit the tone shoots you out, and it might be a shock the first time, but after that you're like, I got something that can activate that to shoot me out. So, but what's happening? What's happening? This is the Chocolate Mountain Show. I'm your super funky host, Big Pontiac. I am the holder of the sacred infinite ball game that was created by the Hero Twins and corrupted by many groups. I am also that one and only Galactic Daddy-O, welcoming each and every one of the Chocolate Mountaineers to my galactic patio that goes from Minnesota to the universe. And since I do have, I ain't got a case anymore. We got about 2 6-packs left, not even probably less than that. But we're drinking the Boulder Beer Shake. And as I said, Boulder Beer, y'all kind of bogus because 2 of my beers was flat. But still, this is the best beer that's made. So pop them if you got them. I'm on edibles all day. And so smoke them if you want them. I like not smoking with the buzz. And just look at this beautiful glass. Look at this beautiful beer glass, first of all. And you just wonder why you don't have this glass. You look at yourself and like, wow, that is a really neat glass. Why don't I have one? And you just look at this amber goodness and you're just imagining and smelling and all your emotions are going and you just wish you were me. You're just like, man, what would it be like to be almost 61 years old holding that magnificent glass with that magnificent beer? Oh, Lobo, I was using your work last night. I hope you don't mind, bro. I was using your work about them winning and with the Kendrick Lamar drop. They said that came from yours. Hey, brother Derek, how you doing, man? And thank everybody for joining. I think we've done well, really well predicting how these scripted sports are going to play out. As I said last night, I think it's bogus that it wasn't it should have been a sweep. You see the bogusness of it. It should have been a sweep. They shouldn't have won any games. That was just that gambling stuff. See, that's why I was saying it reminded me a lot of game one when you had the only game Iverson could win against Kobe and Shaq was game one. Hey, shut the door. So that's what it reminded me of. And that's why really my 4-1 or even my sweep should have hit. So you see how they're doing things. Just clearing everything. Oh, yeah. Yeah. So, I hope, I give credit. I ain't one of these busters to be like saying shit. It's on Facebook. I used to do a lot of Facebook Live and shit about 3 years ago. And I remember I used to tell how, one thing that like Obsidian is great for, and what it trains you for when you start doing mirror work is mirror work trains you to meditate with your eyes open, to break through with your eyes open. And I remember so many people using that. And of course, all the people using my Gangs of New York stuff. So, that's no big deal for me. But I've always been the main one. What is all this shit on my hands? God damn. But I've always been the one to give credit. I've always been one to give credit when I use people's stuff. It's like, where does this come from? So, well, this has been an interesting day. I don't know if y'all noticed gas closed at, let me get this right, 109. Gas closed at 109 today, so we should, now talking about these refineries is producing more, we should see. But it's interesting. Something I did not know. Did you know that when you get vegetable oil, The vegetable oil is refined at these refineries that refine gasoline. Hey, conspiracy, I got to get back with you. I got to get back and holler at you. Hey, Dr. Sinister. But did y'all know that? Apparently, a lot of refineries was told to, they'd get a tax incentive if they make vegetable oil. I did not know that vegetable oil was a gasoline product or would go where gasoline products would be. So that was kind of gross to learn. Heard that today. Ethereum is still trading around 1,000. Bitcoin is around 20. I know a lot of people scared to buy that, but I still think they buys. Gold was 8. What did it close at today? I'm gonna get my days mixed up. Yesterday it fell, but today it was around 850. I think it closed at. Silver was around 21. And actually, the S&P, I want to say everything was up after trading bad for two weeks almost. And if you work somewhere and you have 401ks, you better know what they're investing in, and you better know what you want to invest in, because they give you a list of what to invest in. You should know what, 401k, what they put their money in. Sorry, there's a lot of funky energy out here. So I guess a lot of people say, now basketball's over. What do I talk about now? Well, I watched football tonight. Canadian football is in full effect. This is the second week of Canadian football. And I think I mentioned this last night. Canadian football has been successful for a long time with less than 10 teams. So that's why these smaller leagues in America should make it. I think it was the USFL game tonight. Pretty sure it was. I didn't watch any of it. I was trying to catch some bogus plays in Canadian football. Didn't see any because my Twins, I'm pretty sure the Twins lost. When I quit watching, it was 6-2. Braxton hit a home run in the first inning, though. He's hitting hot, even though his batting average ain't worth shit, but he's hit a home run, I think, every game in the last 6 games, I think. When the Angels' big player what did he sign for? $400 million, and he out for the season with a broken wrist. Them is the easiest kind of injuries to be out. You break your hand or you break your arm and you can't play. That's a year of just recovery. Like when you don't hurt your knee or something like that and you just hurt your hands, that's like just a year off in some kind of ways. There ain't nothing to your legs. And I got to share some pictures of Chuck Benaderet. You think my little fingers is messed up. This dude's finger, he got a finger over there. His finger's like over there. They show a picture when he was an old man, too. I know he had to have arthritis. And he's an interesting character. I said before, can you imagine joining the Army at 16? Joining the Army at 16 years old. You might have just got out of 10th grade. And you go to the war. Lie about your age. And then they put you in the cockpit. I want to say it was the Flying Fortress. Where they got all the machine gun pits and shit. And you in the bubble shooting motherfuckers. How many people had the balls to do that kind of thing? We had a lot of young Europeans go over there and die. Million. I think a million Europeans. Well, I don't know. Maybe not. But a million Europeans out of America went over there and fought. And thousands died. But you can look back, and I look back in my life, and it was people that was brave. I mean, even though people is misguided, my generation, I knew a lot of dudes in Vietnam and a bunch of stories. Bravery. I mean, do we have a generation now that is that brave? Again, coerced by the government, all these lies. But Brother Nick Taylor says something very valuable. When you out there in them holes, none of that shit matters. When you out there looking at motherfuckers that want to harm you, none of the politics matter. What are you doing up so late? This is my brother. What are you doing up late? It's late where you are. It's 1 a.m. I hope everything is well. But this is my brother. Check his work out. Subscribe to him. Have you checked out that TV show Winning Time about magic? Yeah, we've been talking about it. The guy in Winning Time that plays the agent, like, remember, he buys his first Benz from that's Dr. Tucker's character. That's Dr. Charles Tucker. Matter of fact, on Facebook, Robert Little put a picture. It was Magic's dad, Irving Sr., and Dr. Tucker. So you'd think Dr. Tucker wasn't a big part of Magic life. This is either Magic is wearing a Pro Kids jersey. So this is like 76, 77. But my man Robert Little Jr. put a picture up, found a picture of Dr. Tucker and Magic Daddy, and they all just casual. Dr. Tucker, matter of fact, I was telling you about Dr. Tucker's basketball camp. Dr. Tucker is wearing one of his shirts, Dr. Tucker's basketball camp. Held in Lansing every year. Jay Vincent, all the mugs. Magic would be there. Nobody fools. I see you with the top hat. Oh, yeah. This is my guest host, Nobody's Fool. That's right. He don't play. Hey, there's my main man, PJ Allen. What's happening? Hey, Win, what season of Friends was your favorite? I started watching it again. I watched season 1, season 2. I tell you, it was really interesting when they brought Dr. Spock, Neiman. What is his name? His real name? The dude who played Dr. Spock. When they brought him on, I really thought that was an interesting twist, the way they put him in, as I think he was the president of the other reality. I thought that was good. I thought that was good. And what was Fringe? 3 seasons? So maybe 4, but. So I don't know. I liked season 1 and season 2. I liked the whole season. So, yeah. Hey, brother. Okay, I'll do that. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'll be forgetting. I'll be reading shit and then something come up. William Bell. No, Leonard Nimoy. Leonard Nimoy was in it. Remember, Leonard Nimoy was in it before he passed. He was in it. So. But brother Edwards always reminds me to throw up that Jaguar consciousness. This is our consciousness right here. It's funny. Okay, I'm gonna break it down with my brothers listening. You know, Turtle Gang was like saying the Mongoloid shit and doing all that all this Western scientists, Western shit about we done looked at bones and we know how the Mongoloids moved. I mean, this dude is like, you can tell he's paid for it, and that's my man, but he paid for it. So, this is what we about. And then he was even trying to say they done found somebody in Canada that's related to the people in South America, some girl buried up in Canada. And it's this, no. None of the Mongoloids did this right there. Bound their heads. So how she related if she ain't binding her head? We see people in Arkansas at the, what is that mound called? She had the book right here. But the mounds in Arkansas with this, bounded heads. So how is Mongoloids that never bind their heads related to anybody in the Americas? You see? So we can't trust Western science. 5 seasons. Okay, Derek. William Bell. Yeah, okay, that was his real name. I got you. Yeah, the Totec Mounds. No, it was the mounds in Arkansas. I got a book about it. Sapiro Mounds. The Sapiro Mounds. The Sapiro Mounds show some of the same attributes you saw in South America, but especially the bounded heads. Even Chakchia over in St. Louis, even that mound. Again, related. Oh, I am from Arkansas. Okay, but yeah, Sapiro Mounds. The Sapiro Mounds. So again, it shows this brother is He's relying on Western science instead of all the science. He's relying on them, so he's sold out, and that's all right. That's his thing. And I guess it was he was attacked by so many of the Aboriginal community that's trying that took the place. A lot of them mugs they took out of New York. I was looking at some shit where Red Pill is speaking somewhere. Like, man, these dudes still scamming. Still scamming. You just look up the information yourself. Worry about yourself. Krista's sister was tested and has 33% Chippewa. Interesting. 33% Chippewa. Wow. That's the people down there. I don't know if you heard the story. I know it's a delay, but if you're still listening, I don't know if you heard the story. They said down there in Mount Pleasant, or no, it's Mount Clemens. I guess it wasn't Mount Pleasant. It's Mount Clemens. Michigan didn't have enough money to pay their patrol people to patrol. They already used their budget. That's like Shanna's people. My ex-wife's people are Potawatomi. They're Potawatomi people. They're related to the Potawatomis. Menominees, I think they call them in Wisconsin. It's all the same tribe. So that's a good thing. And the understanding is discernment. The understanding is getting this information. How do you apply it, and how do you apply it to your life? For yourself. Does Oklahoma have mounds? I don't think so. I'll have to speak on it again. I got this book and I'm halfway through it, but right now it doesn't appear like Oklahoma has mounds. Oklahoma is a very rocky type of territory. When they gave that area to the Osage, and really when they gave it, made it the Indian lands, they thought it was throwaway lands. And now, most of Oklahoma is supposed to be controlled by the people. They're supposed to give it to a lot of those people that was pushed off of other lands. And it's interesting going through this information. You find some of the Spanish and the Dutch don't lie as much as these English. Remember, the winners write the history. But you read some of the Spanish stuff, they don't be lying. They kind of tell you who they came in touch with and what happened in some ways. They don't tell all the murders. Well, they tell a lot of it. They tell a lot of the murders. Did you see where someone decoded stuff with the top supermarket shooting? I'll say this about that. I think what's more intriguing about the supermarket shooting is the security guard that supposedly had an engine that ran on water. I think was it Nick or Siova? Someone shared that. Someone shared the video, and I watched a couple of them videos, and it's like, like I was saying about this Greensboro shooting that I lived through and my brother lived through. They killed key people. It wasn't like just random people got killed. It was one doctor that was proving and working with people with was it black lung or working around cotton, you get a type of cancer. And I forget what that kind of lung disease is called, but it was this was one of the doctors that was working with people in that area. He got killed. Another one was a union steward. I mean, it was like 2 union stewards got killed in this doctor that's trying to prove that working around all that cotton can get in your lungs and give you cancer at the time. So when they go after these people, they kill, important people. So that guy got killed that had a patent pending about the water engine. And that goes back to the 70s. It was a joke in the 70s that people were saying that it was engines like that could run on water. And then, the oil people are fighting back because, as I said, the troll under the bridge feeds off this stuff. So it is not, it doesn't care what goes over the highway, but it does also feed off the oil. And this is the problem they're going to have with electric cars. They're going to always have. What about the people that can't afford them? What about the people that can't afford electric cars, not even used electric cars? So you saying in 10 years, the 20s, people are going to be able to afford electric Teslas, 10-year-old Teslas? Is that what the aim of Biden and them is supposed to do? That in 10 more years, I can afford a 2020 Tesla and I can afford to plug it in? So, yeah, I saw that he had went viral with the engine working on water. Next thing you know, he's dead. Exactly. Their heads still paying big bucks. Them heads right, still paying big bucks. Yeah. Them head right, still paying big bucks. Yep. Hey, CWE, how you doing? How'd your Yankees do tonight? Twins got their ass whooped. I ain't bet today, though. So I saved all my money for tomorrow. I ain't bet today. I'm waiting on the game tomorrow night. Wasn't no reason. I mean, I didn't even look at the Twins. Twins should have won easy. Teslas go for about 60K. Just depending on what kind. You can get the smaller versions that go cheaper. You can get one for about 30, 35. So, or cheaper. Just go to the website. What did they say? One of the electric cars you buy will install the charging system in your house. Somebody like that. Little Winston, I believe, had the same gadget in his car. Yeah, that was been a thing. They showed a African that had made a car that ran with water, but they want to kill that quick. My first car would be electric. Well, if you can, afford the charging station and it's cheaper, but again, in 10 years, people that can only afford gas cars, they ain't going away. It's people still drive 70s cars. And they mostly collectors, but I'm saying those cars ain't going away. So what are you going to do about them kind of cars? Car collectors. And right now, the most expensive cars are the hot rods from the 70s or 60s and 70s. You try to look at a Roadrunner or a Charger from 70, 71, and you see in them cars going for hundreds of thousands of dollars. And they want to tell you American cars ain't good. But yet, they put these American cars, they highlight and polish them and fix the whatever. And these cars is going for hundreds of thousands of dollars. A car that might have been $15,000 new. So don't tell me that American cars ain't good cars. 48 and 16. I want to say the Cub or the Twins was 39 and something. I thought that's what I saw today before they played the Diamondbacks. It's 34 days since the shooting. Steph is 34. Steph's been in the league 13 years. The Warriors win by 13. The Finals MVP in his 13th season. That all goes back to Wilt, though. A lot of that is Wilt. All them 13s is Wilt. But okay, I feel you. I guess. But hey Lorenzo, how you doing, man? Electric cars the future. High gas prices is telling us it's the battery alone worth $15K. It is nothing is better than American muscle. As I said, the gas closed at 109, so we should be back here. It was 459. As I said, I can burn flex fuel, so it's even cheaper. But it should be even cheaper going tomorrow because it closed at 109. It ain't like it was last or early in the week where it was at 120. It should go down considerably. We'll see. But absolutely, it's a dude in Detroit that make nothing but Lincolns. I think it's called what is it called? I forget the name of the TV show, but it's a dude. He just fucks with Lincolns. 70s, 60s, 70s Lincolns. It's a Mercury made a version and a Lincoln made a version. And like I was saying, where the back window went down. In a regular car, the back window went down. I think the first one I saw was called a Mercury. It was a Turnpike, and I want to say it was the Turnpike was a Mercury, and the back window went down. And this was like a 66, 67. And then you could get the Lincoln version too. I don't remember what Continental it was. Was it a Continental or a Mark? I'm not sure. But I'm pretty sure the Turnpike, which I think was a Mercury. But that shit is cool. That back window come down. They also won by 13. Step 13, they wanted it 6 and 6, the prime numbers. E85 is vegetable oil. Okay, yeah. Yeah, I can burn. Yeah, I think that's what I burn. It's ethanol and something else. But yeah, the flex fuel. It'll definitely burn the flex fuel. Curry won his last ring. Hey, Black Trunks, how you doing? Yeah, I mean, it's all kind of things that can lead you. But what does that do for you? We put it together. Everybody that rock with me on here knew that they was gonna win. And as I said, they manipulated the system not to sweep them because it should have been a sweep. But you know, they can't. They love the 42. So what about that? The 42. They win 4-2 instead of 4-3. They win 4-2. What about that? And I think we did hit on that as well. We hit a little bit on that as well. How's Bob Cousy doing? He is on Facebook under a different name. So he hit me up. He's doing good. You know, our girls are about the same age. Nat's about to be 11 in August. So his daughter's probably turning 10. So yeah, he's doing good. He's doing good out there in LA. Do you think that this is the last we will hear from the Warriors, or is this something to worry about? The Warriors have a really good young core of players to develop after Curry, Clay, and Draymond. I'll tell you what, holding Wiseman out the whole year was probably smart. And if he can take some of that scoring, being the big, they're going to be good next year. But the adjustment, you know, it's funny if you looked at the adjustment that they made is with Green getting 12 rebounds and then Wiggins getting to 11, 12 rebounds. That was the adjustment that they made. They made a greater adjustment because remember, the 2 games they lost, they was getting out rebounded. And all of a sudden, they ain't getting out rebounded. You see him, Wiggins get it, or if not Wiggins, Draymond. So you see how they threw that in. Al Hart for 42, Hurt Curry. So I think Wiseman is going to, how he plays is going to be how they're going to go in the future. I am thinking about going old school with my next car by using moonshine for gas. Shit. You can put most liquor in cars, and most cars, it'll backfire, but most cars will run it. Especially if you got an old carbureted car. I will send you an email detailing the attributes of the Eagle Medicine and Phoenix Medicine. That's cool. All right. I said that too. Wiseman was doing good before he got injured. Exactly. I mean, that gives him a whole nother shot blocker and everything. Where's his favorites to repeat? And that's our second. Yeah, I saw that. They were sending that bullshit. You know, they send you to Tibet for next year. I ain't really that crazy about it. So I ain't do the next year bets yet. I remember I did that one year for the Kentucky Derby. And my horse had won the first 2 races easy. Come the final, was it the Belmont? The horse lost by a fucking nose. I was about to make something like 30 grand. I think it was 36 grand because I had put my bet in before the Kentucky Derby and then for that horse to win it. And that horse loses by a nose. You going somewhere?
No, I was just going to sit in my room.
You look like you got a Jerry curl. You kind of look like Rick James a little bit.
Is that a pigeon shirt?
I don't know.
Maybe. Is that the pigeon like the dunk pigeons?
Maybe.
Them dunk pigeons are tough. They're like 700.
You and Brendan do that shit. I don't know where y'all get that shit from.
I don't know, nigga. Just you tell me.
It looks like you got a Jerry curl though. California curl. They still make that stuff where you could spray it and keep a, you know, you could
I
keep
don't want a fucking Jerry curl.
but you can keep a bottle in your pocket.
Why
It's
would I want
moisturizer. It's moisturizer.
Why would I want a Jerry curl?
Activator. It's activator.
For
You
what?
look like you got Jerry curl now, though.
My hair's wet.
Oh, okay. Why you do like that? That's like some girl shit.
Because it was touching the back of my neck, getting my white shirt dirty.
He's funny. He's funny. The brothers in Ohio from Sapani Catawba to United Sapani. The brothers switched tribes from Sapani Catawba to Ohio United Sapani. Wow. I wonder what the benefit of doing that. I wonder what the benefit of that. Yeah, I mean, I need to get back with you because I found, you know, the Black's Law Dictionary, that stuff I found, that's the way. That's the way to get the power to move and be able to do business. So maybe we need to look that back up again. Because I'm thinking about coming back. We'll see. I'm thinking about it, though. My daughter can drive now, so I ain't got to do nothing but go get a room, and she can drive me around. They always do that. A team just won a championship and always favored to win it again. Yeah, they put that out there to get them bets. You know, and that's good money. As I was saying before him, I mean, it was Brown something was his name. I mean, the horse literally, and you could see the way when they went to the stretch, he burned his horse out, so his horse would lose on purpose. Take your keys so you don't have to bother me.
Feel you.
I don't know. Is it a pigeon shirt? Somebody? It's a bunch of shit on the back. This is
No, because they got the. I think it's the same brand that makes the pigeon dunks.
This is not Champs, not Foot Locker. I can't think of it. One of them. I bought this shirt for like $4 back when in the winter time. Big Brown. Yeah, Big Brown. Yeah, Big Brown. Yeah, that was a name. 36 grand. That shit hurt to lose by a nose. And I watched him burn that horse out. Because if he'd just, because all the other ones, he kept that horse on an even keel. And in the last race, you know, he started hitting on him to burn him out. So the other horse and like didn't win the crown. Yeah, I think it was Big Brown. Yeah, thank you. Hey, Unique Breed, how you doing? Cap Clippers been favorites to win the previous 2 seasons. Yeah, they can. If your son went to the Rockwell, he's Jerry Curl. Let him. Dye his hair just long as shit and wet. Staple Pigeon's a brand your son's talking about. Okay, I don't know if that's this shit. I don't think this is some shit from Champs or Foot Locker. Foot Locker. This is a Foot Locker brand. I don't think that's what this is. This is some Foot Locker shit. It's just been in my closet. And silver and white shirts don't go good together. And I broke the latch on my big snake silver chain. So I definitely got to go out to the Mall of America because they'll fix it for about $20. So I got to take it out there. Broke my big chain. I can tell when I don't wear Motivite. I'm not as bright. Don't remember as much. What's your take on the whole Watson scandal? I mean, it's the same thing, you know. It's funny the way Corey Holcomb broke it down. Corey was saying maybe they didn't pay. He wasn't paying them, but he was paying them. Now, maybe he wasn't paying them enough, but maybe he was being cheap about the way he was paying them. So, I mean, normally in that kind of business, they already know. If you paying them, ain't much they can say. That's why the criminal thing went out. So, you see, Kersey signed, or no, Clowney. Yeah, Clowney signed with Cleveland. I saw that today. So, I mean, it's just the same thing they've always done to brothers, saying brothers is oversexed. You give them money, look how they act. I always feel like my daddy teasing me. Yeah, we go at it, me and all the boys. Like what I started with, I hit my son with, I texted him. It was raining the other day, and I texted him. I know to you, it might sound strange. And he texts me back like, what the fuck are you talking about? I'm like, Temptations, baby. And he's like, oh, he's like, okay, LOL. East and West, East 35, East 40 titles, West 35. Yeah, 51-50, yeah. So maybe that was the thing. He didn't pay him enough. Hard to say how to break that down. I mean, it's a shaming thing that we've seen before with many others. You know, Greg Hardy was the perfect goofy ass example. You're going to get mad at your girl and then you're going to throw her on the guns? Come on. What kind of shit is that? Who does that? You know, you take out all your guns and then you throw them on the bed. Nobody does that. Beverage started to see how that turned out. Plus, they do. Seeing how that turned out. Plus, they do that a lot of other sports too. Can Kawhi come back as a top 5 superstar? He's not really quick. And so I'll give you a good comparison. Look how Klay couldn't really, given multi-picks, they weren't turning the basket on for him. Offensively, he didn't play well. Defensively, he did. I don't know if people looked at that. Klay was one of the few that tried to box out. When they really wasn't boxing out, he was one of the few that boxed out. So, because my man was like, my man Tony was like, what was Klay doing? But I'm like, Klay was playing defense. So you go back and watch. Klay was playing defense, boxing out, standing in front of his man. Now, did that affect his offense? Yeah. But I don't know, Derek. I don't know if they're going to turn him back on. Greg Hardy was an idiot. Yeah, he was. The media comparing R. Kelly Watson, nah. R. Kelly, what he did, they say was criminal. But has he been convicted of anything? Isn't R. Kelly still going through trial? So he ain't really even been convicted. NBA players spoke about the rigging. No, I talk about that all the time. Why would they? Threw her on guns. Yeah, I believe that's what he did. He threw her on guns. Stupid as shit. Do you remember Rick James used to bust Linda Blair? No, I didn't know that. It's funny. I work with a chick that looks like Tina Marie. I work with a woman, same size, same little thick woman, looks just like Tina Marie. This chick is probably in her 30s. It's like, I go to work. This is what's funny. I go to work Wednesday, my last day. I go in there. Again, it's hot. And there's a girl wearing track shorts that's biting her. And she's bending over, putting books in some shit. And I'm like, God damn. I walk in there, and this is the first thing I see was her. It's like, shit. But now I didn't know about Rick James and Linda Blair. I thought Linda Blair was cute. I really did. Warriors won the 35th final. Shame Ritual for KD that used to wear 35. Yeah, I can see a little bit of that. Yeah, Klay lost a step. Yeah, definitely. And so we got to look at Kawhi the same way. You know, and he only 6'5", 6'6", and he's more of a spot up shooter. And I don't know if y'all caught the records and seeing Danny Green when Danny Green knocked out LeBron was just so ridiculous that all of a sudden Danny Green hitting 6, 7 in a game. That was the thing that LeBron would have beat San Antonio 2 years in a row. He wouldn't have just beat him once. He'd have beat him twice. But Danny Green, all of a sudden, they manipulating his shots. And you know that he was one that shouldn't. Paul Glove matters. Damn, she worked all. Oh yeah, she worked all day in them. She had on the little light ones. The little light ones. She had like the little light ones with the cut, like the little V cut on the sides. Very light material, and they was like biting her. Again, it was 90 something outside, and was surprisingly with them books. Normally the air conditioning it'd be air, but you moving around, you get to sweating. When it was 90, they had that shit. It was fine. And every so often you see where they have to spray mist around all this shit too, because it ain't nothing but books in there. All that paper, paper comes from wood and it's combustible. So yeah, there's a mist that's sprayed. They say it's water, but you never know. He could have just threw her on his 9 instead of throwing on 9s. That's funny. Danny Green was on fire in the 13. Yeah, that was all some bullshit. Yeah, we about to get it too. I got a little bitty air conditioner. I bought the board today, and dude said he didn't have I need a what do they call it? I need a saw that's going to go inside of the board and cut out my hole for my air conditioner. So I'm going to wait tomorrow. I think I've got a place that, I forget what the kind of saw, jigsaw, maybe. I need a jigsaw and get them to cut out the hole instead of trying to force it on my window ledge. I want to put it in the board. So, but if I'm forced to, because we're going to get to, by Father's Day, we getting it. So, and Father's Day, just kicking it with my mother and my daughter. I think that's all I'm doing right now. As I said before, my oldest son here, we're going to the season opener of the Vikings. So that's his gift to me. So that's cool too. That is cool too. But yeah, that shit with Danny Green wasn't believable. That shit was not believable at all. I tell you, ticks been up here, like where I play pickleball. When the ball go into the grass, I like, fuck them balls. I ain't going in that shit. It, ticks is bad, been bad up here. They need to release some possums. Possums will clear out the ticks. Go snatch some possums and throw their asses around the pickleball court and get rid of the ticks, because ticks is getting bad up here. Danny Green forgot how to shoot in 2020 was with the Lakers. Now, he was never a good shooter. That's the point. That's the point you got to see. He was never an outstanding type of player. He was always a role player. So, I don't know. But I feel good about the sports picks. Got to, look at baseball. Hockey, yeah, I'm still saying Tampa Bay. They're going to let Tampa Bay three-peat. And I know Tampa Bay gave up 5 goals, but Avalanche gave up 4. And the Avalanche goals, it was harder for them to score than it was for Tampa Bay, because they had a 2-0 lead and Tampa Bay came right back and tied the game, and I think in the second period. So I think Tampa Bay is going to end up winning. That's where my money is on Tampa Bay. And that's just really just watching, not really breaking down anything. I ain't really broke down anything. Getting the heat wave now. It's going to be 100 degrees in my neck of the woods. Hot down here in the SIP. Yeah. Yeah, it's going to be, I forget what they call it, a heat dome. That's what they was calling it. It's going to be a heat dome across the nation, certain parts of the nation. What's next for the Celtics? Celtics is always going to be in there. They like Tatum to a point. You see, they turned him off last night. He went from being dominant to not even being heard. Turnovers on purpose. I mean, hell, what was the final turnover count? I think I got in there 20. Where is it? 21 turnovers. And I think I broke it down. Celtics had in the second quarter, the Celtics had 10 turnovers at 4-minute mark in the second quarter. So you think they trying to win? And then end up with 21. And when was that 21? They had 21 turnovers at the 4:50 mark of the fourth quarter. They already had 21 turnovers. So you think they're trying to win with that? But I think I'm on to something, charting the shots. I think I'm kind of on to something. So I think I'm going to do more games like that next season. Add that to my knowing. Has Curry tied or passed LeBron in top 10 all time? Probably not. I'd say probably not. Because LeBron played in, 8 in a row? I'm still sticking with the Colorado in 5, but I do see them losing tomorrow night, though. I just, I'm not really breaking it down, but just looking like the way they play, I think Tampa Bay, because even that last goal they won in overtime, again, that's overtime. So I think Tampa Bay's a little stronger team. That's what it looked. That's what I was getting out of it, because the way they came back after 2 goals down, they didn't even, blink. And of course, it's scripted, but because really that last rush, they shouldn't have really scored, I didn't think. I can't wait for football season. Games are trash, no defense, and of course scripted. But I still love it. I'm watching the Canadian football. I love the 6 receivers. I love that. I love it more passing game, and the running game that you do is more open. I've always thought that less injuries come from the Canadian style football because of the bigger field. You have less downs. You do still see the hits because it is a passing game, so you do still see some of the hits. But and I know, ex-Canadian players, and I do not see the injuries of Canadian players with the CTE that we see with Americans. So I've always liked that game. But trying to think what I took. Yeah, I still got, because, I gave up. What was it? My bet was total goals. I think I won that. Now I think about it. I won total goals. But, yeah. Trying to think of what I gave up. I don't fucking know. I have to read that shit. Hey, when you're bold, are you an observer? I don't know about that. I think, far as the corruption in sports, I think that I have been given insight, I think, to the real reason for sports. That's why I love pickleball so much, because it shows the hero twins. It really shows the hero twins on how you still work together, but yet you mirror yourself to play against yourself. And what I mean is, when you play pickleball, it's 2-on-2. And so you're both the hero twins. And despite you playing competition against yourself, you're still working with yourself because you have your partner. So it is a total example of the hero twins idea of getting along instead of the Cain and Abel kind of deal. You don't trust your brother. The hero twins is the opposite. You fight gods with your brother. And I don't think it can be any deeper than that. Shit. Your brother going them halls, you go right around with him. You be right there like, yeah, whatever. This shit ain't tripping me out. You step in there, I'm stepping in there with you. What's happening, my dudes? Just look at this entertainment. We talk about being scripted, rigged. We won't, but we're not going to stop it. All we can do is, and profit off it. That's the biggest thing, is we can profit off it. It's been easier and easier to break down this. Football was easy to break down, and now basketball. Of course, a lot of y'all said the Ukraine flag. I mean, that's one of the easiest things that even the Rams did before Putin went in. And it's the same thing we saw in football, rewarding an older player instead of the younger players. But you're still excited about the younger player. And now, I don't know if you guys been listening, all of a sudden, what's his name? The receiver down in Miami that used to play with Mahomes, he's saying that he thinks Tua is more, okay. I read some of it. He thinks Tua is more accurate than Mahomes. I mean, that one I showed Mahomes where, in that play before halftime, to throw a swing pass with no timeouts. Come on, get the fuck out of here. I mean, it just doesn't make sense. As much, let me see. KD versus Curry all time. KD versus Curry. I think Curry gets it over him. I really do. Because Curry won 2 without him, didn't he? Lost 1-1 with him and lost 1 with him. 1-1 with him and lost 1 with him. As much as me and my brother fight, I'll call him back up me. He be here quicker than. Yeah. It's like Corey Holcomb was saying, I wouldn't even fight my brother. He got mad and tried to hit me, I'd just run away. I would never fight him. I mean, we've been through too much together. Why would I fight him? He got mad at me, I'd just run away. Like, okay, I'm going to run away. He couldn't catch me. Even at 60, he couldn't catch me. You couldn't catch me. I could trick you. I took the red pill years ago. Everything's manipulated. Yeah, and the thing about it is, once you take it, you can't go back. Predicting the champion NBA is easiest to me. I think so. I mean, the last couple of years it has been. Same with Dak sliding with no time left against the Niners in the playoffs. Oh, we had a what was it? God, it was. You know how many times like a player will score instead of wasting time? Like you see sometimes some games we have players go to the one and fall down and time waste out, but we see other times where the players score and give the other teams a chance. So we see how they do it. Mahomes is overrated. Dan Marino with 1 ring. Dan Marino, yeah, well, Dan Marino got none ring. Yeah, I saw it. Some of it came. I read some of it. So I'll give you a call. I mean, it's gonna be late here. I can call you tonight or I can call you tomorrow. But yeah, Mahomes sucked in that playoff game. He sucked, but he sucked on purpose. He sucked on script. So he getting his money regardless. That's the thing. They get their money regardless. People ain't gonna believe us. And even if the players come forward and say it's gonna be buried, people don't care. And wrestling is a prime example of that. Wrestling shows you people will still love wrestling no matter what. No matter what, people love wrestling. So that's the same way. And players ain't going to talk about, especially the players that's getting pension. As I said before, the players that don't get pension, they still know people. You don't know how many athletes get jobs because they know somebody. Somebody knows somebody to know somebody. As I said about my friend didn't snitch. He did 16 years. He got that life without parole for selling 4 keys on camera. Ex-Michigan player. Shit, as soon as he got out of prison, he got a job at one of his ex-teammates' factory, and he's doing well. Found him a girl. He's doing well. So even people that ain't in the game respected that he never snitched. As I said before, when he went in, they dropped $250,000 on his woman and said, just tell him to be tight. And he did 16 years, never told. And his brothers brought him right back into Michigan. Ain't that right? That's right. So that's why they don't snitch. These is lifelong commitments. I mean, I've known my teammates. Like I talked to my teammate the other day. We known each other for 40 years. 40 years we've known each other. Still keep in touch. Adrian, how you doing? Mahomes has been terrible the last 2 Super Bowls. Yeah. Flora Evans has to be the most colonized-minded character. Yeah, she was. And it was interesting that, what's his name? The producer of All in the Family that produced Good Times as well. It was amazing that he would put that character out there that loved the European more than she loved herself. And that's what Florida showed. NFL is fraternity. Absolutely, Black Trumps. It absolutely really is. I mean, what did Kyrie Irving say? 5,000 people in the history of basketball have only played pro basketball. In the history of humankind, in the last 75 years, only 5,000 people. So you wonder why they ain't telling, And a large number of those people have coached. If they don't play, pro or they coach. They coach at their college. I mean, they get jobs with their friends, and I mean, it's a big network of things that don't go away. You have an office, you can put your basketball shit in your office, and a lot of businesses like showing that kind of shit off. Oh, this, so and so, yeah, there he goes. So that's how some of it works. Mahomes 10-year, 550. Egghead got him under control. Oh, absolutely. So he's down for whatever. He is down for whatever. Crazy story. Jewish ass Norman Lear. That's who it is. Yep, Norman Lear. Norman Lear showed that this melanated woman loved the European more than she loved herself. and that it broke her reality to think that Borgia wasn't the savior, you know. She totally accepted without doing any kind of looking up anything. She totally accepted the picture of Borgia. You know, my brother definitely remembers this. Is when I was young, do you know, like, you know, door-to-door salesman was a big when I was younger. When motherfuckers selling shit, just knock on your door, got the shit in the car, whatever, selling all kind of shit. And one of the popular things they would sell would be Kennedy, Martin Luther King, and Jesus. Those was what they would sell. It was like a 3-picture deal. Yeah, Kennedy, Martin Luther King, and Jesus, the Borgia. And you know how many people would buy one of those or all three? We go into people's house, and you know that the door-to-door salesman, you could tell, you know, the motherfuckers, the suckers that bought this shit from him, and you'd see it up there, Kennedy, King, or just Kennedy and Borgia. And you go in and melanated people's house. They may not even have pictures of themselves or their children, but they got the picture of Kennedy and Borgia up there, or Lincoln. You know, that's more older, but Kennedy and Borgia was really popular when I was younger. But it's idol worship, you know. It's idol worship. Somebody was showing on Facebook, you know, the book How to Make the Negro Christian. And it only had one page. It had a picture of a gun. One page. How to Make a Negro Christian, and a picture of a gun. That's it. By force. And I don't know. I don't think. Yeah, this one doesn't have the Quetzalcoatl cross. No. Just God-El mainly. And they burn all this kind of shit up, but a little bit of it, and then tell you, you know, we when I was a child, they told you that the Americans had no right, no nothing, no reading system, no writing system, no nothing. These was just the dumbest of the dumb motherfuckers. They was just over here making mud pies. That's what I was taught when I was young. That all that was going on was mud pies. These niggas just know how to make mud pies. We came over and they were just good at making mud pies. They'd eat the mud pies, but they were good at making them. Some part of the country you can't eat some of the mud pies. There are a lot of occult rituals involved in the ball game manipulation, the NBA and NFL. Of course, of course. Caesar Borgia was inspiration for the book The Prince by Niccolo Machiavelli. Thank you, Brother E. Thank you for that information. But that's where the picture comes from, and so, I mean, I ain't the first to say that. Now, hopefully, it ain't the last. I mean, you're not looking at. You're looking at a being of in control. See, the problem that when they came in and was working with the people that hated the Aztecs was, you know, the cross. We understood the cross because it was something we work with. The cross is the directions. You know, that's a South America thing. So some of the things was they did see in common. And I said before, my brother broke down and found is that Cortez might have had the white coat. He might have been dressed in like white feathers that they put together, and he passed this to Quetzalcoatl, you know. And there's a movie called it's got the dude who played Wolverine in it, The Living Tree. And it keeps showing his character. And one time his character, when he's himself, you know, and the first couple of times he's in the terrorist pyramid, he gets killed by, you know, one of the Mayan. But the last time, you know, the Mayan looks at him and says, Quetzalcoatl, I didn't know that was you. And so, you know, again, that goes back to when my brother broke the code of why probably they work with Cortez through trickery. Omen culture goes back millions of years. Yeah, as I said, you know, they got, when I talk about I guess I do got a little bit of whiplash. Still think I died. That's what I saw. And I fell, like I looked at my weight bench and I thought, man, if it gives out and I'm laying down and I hit my head on that table, it'd probably kill me. And that happened yesterday. And I watched myself and I probably should have died what happened. And I didn't. I got a little bit of whiplash though. I feel it now. But probably should have killed me. The angle I fell and everything, which should have been the weirdest little thing. Because when I was in the bathroom doing shit, I was like, damn, what if I'm dead? And, I'm thinking I'm doing this shit and I'm dead in there. But yeah, the Mayan calendar really goes back millions of years. And they can't really say that of any other system. They got stelae that go back millions of years. So this is, and that's really what had them so nervous on 2012. They thought 2012 was their ass because this machine did not think it controlled what was going to happen next. Let me see. I watched a video of a black man had pictures of Borgia, Malcolm X, and Martin King. They act like these kids who was the most inspiration in their life, but all that choose Jesus. Like I was saying, what's his name? I was on his show, Sub-Zero. Sub-Zero still loving Malcolm, He can't take that Malcolm was work for them peoples too. He can't take that. Elijah Muhammad, they got the tax write-off. So that means you work for him. So, look that up yourself. The Nation of Islam was getting the tax write-off as a church. And they was getting that from the 60s, 50s. I'll take that back. They was getting that shit in the 50s. Elijah Muhammad or Elijah Poole was an agent. Man, he was an agent when he was looking up a part of Noble Drew Ali's thing. And so was Farad, both of them, agents. Farad lighter than me. Had long, and you try to tell me that that's black Muslims. Even Hafez NCA used wrestling when it came to paydays, but nobody cares about wrestling. Do the Jewish... So in the Jewish faith, the mother gets the power, right? Stein, Kentucky. The mother gets the power, right? Example, Wiley. Oh, saying the name, using the mother's name. No, you could be right. I don't know. I really don't know. I thought they went by the father in the Jewish faith. The K baby is precisely because nobody wants to lose. Kayfabe is precise and the only top tier known about. I don't need harder to fake wrestling, boxing because nobody wants to lose. Sometimes they let them go out boxing, but most of the time it's not. Might have Masonic ring and a finger to the temple. What more do you need to know exactly? And Malcolm met with Rockwell, the racist Rockwell. Malcolm met with them. They was meeting with the clans and taking money from the clans. But I'll say this about what Malcolm Elijah Muhammad said. They was right. Right during integration, Muhammad, and more Malcolm was saying, let us have our own land. That made the most sense. I mean, that was right. It was like, let us separate from y'all. We see the trick of integration. You just want our money. Let us separate. Give us our land and leave us the fuck alone. They were right about that. That's still the point today. That was the point, really, of the Civil War. They want to tell you all these lies. Somebody was showing the map, like I talked about Robert Little Jr. He showed the map of Mississippi, and part of it was what? Choctaw, and part of it was. But these two native groups was fighting for the Confederacy. So if they had most of this land in Mississippi, you think they was really slaves. As I said, my great grandfather, we had a picture in Mississippi in the 1850s. He about my complexion, maybe slightly browner, about my complexion. But his wife is dark like the hat, dark. And they taking pictures in the 1850s. Ain't no slave pictures. He paid for his picture. He paid for his wife's picture. And they telling you that didn't exist in Mississippi. They telling you everybody was slaves. So the Civil War shit was a lie. Reconstruction was the real slavery. Here we go. Noble Drew Ali has, so they used the herds revived statues, which was sovereignty. Yeah. Thank you for mentioning that. Years later, they fucked it up all on purpose. Yeah, well, of course. That's what Malcolm said in his book. Niggas, we had a good thing and niggas fucked it up. That was one of the realest things he said. But he says, Malcolm says it beautifully. All praise is due to, the source. Only mistake is mine. When he says it, all praise is due to Allah. Only the mistakes were mine. That's a motherfucker admitting it. That's somebody admitting it. It's like, I fucked up, even if I believe in God. That wasn't on God. That was on me. So, but it's saying when you do the mistakes is mine. But when you do good, it's, we're giving it to the spaceman. So just look the stuff up. These heroes wasn't real heroes in the 60s. I mean, Dane broke down, Stokely Carmichael, agent, later was in the Panthers. That just showed you. And I know people get mad when I say it, but Huey P. Newton and Bobby Seale. As I said last night, 40 out of the 100 Ku Klux Klans organizations in North Carolina, 40 was run by FBI informants. Do you understand that? So you telling me that brothers in California and Oakland was in cars, armed, following police cars around because the people was getting treated so bad. That's how it started. That's how it started. So you telling me that them people out in California wanted to keep that going without holding. So they sent light skin, dark skin. Light skin, Huey P. Newton, dark skin, Bobby Seale. Huey Newton is the leader. And what happens to the leader? They pull the leader off the road. They say that while he's handcuffed, he shoots somebody in the stomach. No, he shoots and kills somebody while he got a gunshot wound to the stomach. He's a bad motherfucker. He's handcuffed, shot, and yet he was able to shoot somebody while he was handcuffed. That's a bad motherfucker. That motherfucker was able to take the bullet, reach around, grab the gun, and then shoot from behind his back like some Jesse James shit. That's Huey P. Newton's story. Why he freed Huey. They took him off the streets. As I said, the first Panther sacrificed his little Bobby Hutton. And there was some weird shit between him and Eldridge Cleaver. The story was come out naked so they don't think you have a gun. Is that believable? Is that believable? Eldridge Cleaver naked, Bobby ain't got his shirt on. What you think they was doing in there? And then Bobby gets killed. Cleaver, we know, is an agent. He survives. So, full of agents. Full of agents. I mean, Joe Brown, when they killed Bunchy Carter, he probably had a hand in that. We know the Next people had a hand in it. Kalunga, whatever his name is, he was part of Next. He was part of killing John Higgins and Bunchy Carter, especially Bunchy Carter. See, Bunchy Carter was the L.A. Chief Panther. Do you know how much bigger the potential of the L.A. Panthers would have been compared to Oakland? Do you know the potential and why they killed Bunchy Carter? He had more power. He had more people than Newton. He had more people. He had more people than Fred Hampton. So do you understand why they killed Bunchy Carter on UCLA's campus? You understand why? Because Bunchy Carter was with it. He wasn't controlled. And he controlled all them gangs. Where did the rapper get killed? Slauson. Bunchy Carter was a Slauson. You see Slauson Street in LA, well, that was a gang too. And then Bunchy Carter was a Slauson. And Slauson turned into Panther, means all them Slausons behind him was becoming Panthers. So that's why they killed Bunchy Carter. That was Houdini. Do you think daylight savings bill starts this year? As I said, daylight savings. I lived through daylight savings all year round. And In the Midwest, we was going to school. It was still dark. November, December. We went to school in the mornings. It was still dark. So 9 o'clock, 8:30, 9 o'clock, it was still dark in the fall, in November, December. And I remember going to school like that. My brother probably a little too young to remember that, but yeah, they did that in Michigan. We was sitting in school dark in the morning, not getting light till like 9:30, 10 o'clock. So, I mean, that's some shit. You know, you ain't used to that, going to school when it's dark. So that's what it's going to mean for your children. If they keep this daylight saving shit for the rest of the country, November, December, you're going to be sending your children to school when it's dark. So be aware of that if you have younger children. Racism is checkerboard, Masonic floor game. We all mixed and divided by nothing but imaginary lines. Peace, y'all. Everyone suffers in this realm, no matter what skin. That's true. It's yeah. Hey, Marcus the Great, what's happening? I agree, Jack. It's classism. You know, that's what Fred Hampton's called it. Classism. Not racism, it's classism. That was the real Rainbow Coalition. Was done by Fred Hampton. Jesse Jackson kind of copied it, and now the gays have taken over the Rainbow Coalition. But the original Rainbow Coalition was created in what, 68, 69 by Fred Hampton in Chicago. You know, one of his most famous speeches is, "It's not racism, it's classism." It's classism. Because I was talking about all these young men that they tricked to go to war in World War II. This is the reason why. I mean, if you read 400 years of classism, or more popularly called poor white trash, she breaks it down. They really almost wanted to do away with all these poor Europeans. If they was mentally handicapped or anything, they was icing them out. But the poor ones, they wanted to do away with them. And I would just add this to Bacon's Rebellion. It showed that they needed a buffer class. That's what Bacon's Rebellion showed them. Not to actually bring in a poorer class. They needed a buffer class. And that's what the police are. The police are the buffer class. But they needed a buffer class, so they created white. As I said, I had a brilliant, I don't think it was a Time, wasn't a Newsweek, maybe National Geographic. It broke down. It was about who's calling themselves white or who's calling themselves European. And Jews was historically not Europeans. They did not take on the white. They wasn't white. But now they're talking about 2 million people have come in since Biden's been in office. What do you think these people call themselves? They're going to call themselves European Latinos. That is the reason why Biden let so many of them in. Because a lot of Europeans aren't having children. So they know that if they bring in these Latinos that look European, because that's what it is turned into. They need the look. They don't care about the bloodlines anymore. They need the look. As long as these people they bring over, they don't give a fuck what they speak. If they look European, that is the goal. To bring in many South American, European-looking people as possible. That's what the goal is. In my lifetime, will I go to South America? I hope so. I really do want to go to Belize. I do want to go to Veracruz. I want to see the Omens, because the Omens still have a pyramid you can climb, and I think it's Veracruz. So that's where I want to go. I do want to see the Pyramid of the Sun and Moon, you know. The dude who wrote this book, Jose Aguirre, he talks about going there. I want to go to Palenque, where this comes from, where this and this both come from. And you can talk to him. You know, he set himself up where he's an oracle. So I'd like to see all that. That energy's there for us. So I would like to sit on one of those pyramids, get that energy in. I'll say this. I was listening to a dude. He talked about when they first went into, caught this. This is interesting. He talked about when they first went into Australia, the reason the Europeans massively killed them, because they thought these people was devil worshippers, because these people were literally able to walk sideways and disappear. That's what he said. He was like, my man Daryl Duncan sent me, and he was just saying that they were able to walk a certain way and disappear from the Europeans. Now, I've said this before. The people left in America that didn't rise up, again, the city of gold, El Dorado, Shangri-La, all that kind of stuff. I've talked about that many times. You know, the original things that lived here never left. They just evolved. And they live, I don't even know if you can call this heaven. It ain't really heaven. These motherfuckers ain't really gods. But that's what was given to South America. They caught the lower beings. The higher beings are still there. And that's the technology they want. That is what CERN and all that shit is trying to understand how these motherfuckers is living around this shit, and they don't control them. You know, they're barely able to be in touch with them. But that is the technology they really want, and they still can't get it. And that is why they're trying this with this LiDAR, because a lot of these pyramids is just amplifiers for all this. That's keeping them up there. And they want to bring that shit down so they can have that technology. Because they can kill what's all of us. That shit still exists. And they don't control it. And they know it's there. So that's why, you know, this shit about aliens and stuff ain't nothing new. They ain't aliens no more. As I said before, there have been so many generations born here that they ain't aliens no more. Like if Superman had children, his children ain't aliens. And so calling them aliens ain't really the right word. Just non-humans. And it's a lot of non-humans that's living among us. A lot of them. And they're out in the open. Just look at them. You know, you can tell. You should be able to tell, just like you should always be able to tell a person in your tribe. I mean, you may have never met a person, but you should be able to recognize people in your tribe. And I ain't saying you're going to bring them into your family. I'm just saying recognize them. I see people all the time that I know is part of especially my Macon side. You know, I see people all the time that's in the tribe. I'm like, damn. I mean, there's a look, and I know the look. I'm like, damn, they related. And that don't mean I stop them and, you know, kick it with them. No. Or is Fringe the machine or the me or the my or something else? Well, Fringe, that's kind of a good path. I guess we can go down that path for a second. So to understand how the me would do it, and I've said this, you know, in the past. See, the way the me works is the me has to create all possibilities. And so if there's four forks in the road, the me is going to play out all four. I mean, that's like a video game. You know, the video game is going to do the same kind of simulation. If it's a fork in the road, if you take one way or the other, the video game is going to play both. So if you took one and it's against you, you know, in the video game, you see what I'm saying? How the machine would look at it. So that is kind of how the mind works. So the mind has multiple things playing at the same time because that's the only way it can control it. If it just had one thing playing, it wouldn't have as much control. So the mind doesn't want to be wrong. And so the mind has created these many, and that gets into string theory, and I'm not a big fan of that, but that kind of gets into that a little bit, that multiple, you know, strings go out, especially if you believe in the torsion field, as brother, as Dan Winters talks about and brother Bomber talks about, multiple possibilities, you know. And probably shouldn't say this, but it's like movies show this shit too. It's like all these other possibilities. This is gonna sound odd, but it's the truth. It's like you really can waste time doing that shit. You really can. You can be caught. Anime is good at that too. You can be caught. Okay, it's like a wild horse and you trying to break it, but it's all these different lanes, And it's the same thing as the horse. It's like, are you going to sit on the horse and fight the horse? And I only add that because what it means is, are you going to go down this lane? And once you go so far down it, you got to play it out. And that's what I'm saying. It's the bronc horse, you know. It's the horse that, you know, do you want to do that every time? Because you can waste time doing that. It's like, that shit is there. I gotta go discover that shit and see what happened. And what you find is you've went down 4 different lanes and wasted this time. And what did you gain? You know, you don't really gain nothing, but you waste your time. You wasted your ability. And so that is the discipline. That is the discipline that it takes to really go into this stuff. Because sometimes this thing wants to lead you astray. And if you going through life with blinders on when you get this information, because that's how, you know, when people trade drugs for religion, they put blinders on, because the only way out of, you know, I don't think about drugs if I think about God or I think about the Bible all the time, you know, so they go through with blinders on. So that's the problem with all these possibilities, you know, so you don't want to chase that, I guess is my point. That what's cool is, yeah, I'll share this. What's cool is a lot of times, so you're like looking at the hallways. A lot of times you get a preview of what's going on in the hallway. And that's kind of a way to kind of like, oh shit, I don't really want to do that. Because it's like you'll see the preview come in. And as I said, once you go so far, you get sucked into the experience. But a lot of times you can see the previews like, hell no, I don't want to do that. And then you see the next preview and you're like, no, I don't want to do that either. And then you may want to try the third one. Like, fuck it, I'm going to try it. So if you get that, a lot of times it'll save you from wasting time and going to experience. So wanted to put that out there, because pay attention, because a lot of times when you sit at some of these doors, the preview will pop up. Now, a lot of, as I said before, this shit be like micro shit. So if you don't, like I mentioned, sometimes when I meditate, a lot of times the ancestors or the guides will come right in. They'll come right in. And the best way I can tell you is, can you imagine? It's like you go into meditation and then, you know, you turn back on and you're just facing, your little bitty head is facing this giant head. And it's like the giant head wants to see how you respond. But the point is, they can come in that quick. So the same way as if you can sit outside, you know, you see the different paths and you can sit outside and you're like, okay, preview. No, I don't want to do that. Preview. No, I don't want to do that. Preview. I don't want to do that. And I don't want to do that either. I'm like, okay, I got a little bit of each. Then how do I apply that to how I'm doing now? You know, so Fringe was cool. It was cool. I mean, it is the possibility from the me. I mean, it's totally, it would show you totally a machine-driven consciousness, because only a consciousness would create the double of itself as the balance, as knowing everything. And that's what the me is. It is it has to know it all. It has to anticipate it all. That's why, you know, the corruption with the sports. And I say the egghead man, this is where it comes from. It comes from this kind of consciousness that has to, and sometimes, show every possibility. And that's why it loves the sports. You know, we look at in the Matrix, when we see the architect, it's got all the screens. You know, you don't have to go into each screen. You can see the screens. That's what I was saying, the possibilities. And I hope that's not too much. You know, I'm really not trying to say anything that you can't experience, because you can't experience this. It's just recognizing when you do experience it. Because a lot of times this shit flashes quick. You close your eyes, it's, you know, right there. So that's why it's so important to turn off your mind when you get into it. When you get into yourself, you turn off your mind, because you don't want to miss anything. And I'm guilty of that. I'm still thinking about some other shit, or trying to do some shit, and here's this shit just coming by, and I'm just missing it because I'm not concentrating on the moment. I'm still thinking about this shit out here instead of, being focused. So, I don't know, guys. I mean, this is just kind of some ways I go at it and how I look at it, and just trying to prepare people. Because spirituality isn't easy. It ain't fun. It ain't always glamorous. Like Zyper said, can you turn it off? And that's the thing, is once you turn on and you see this thing, it ain't no going back. You can't ignore it. I mean, as much as you would try, that's what's funny. Once you discover this and you try to ignore it, it'll pop up more and more and more, which is interesting. If you try to ignore this thing, it just keep popping up and showing you it's some bullshit. It'll pop up more. If you say, okay, I'm just gonna be neutral about your bullshit and go on about my business, not talking about it. And this thing is so hungry for attention, it will start showing you the mistakes more and more and more. That is mistakes that you can't unplug from it. You cannot unsee. That's the way this thing works. So, and that's why they show Cypher. Cypher saying, erase this shit from me. I don't know. And now to erase it, you got to have mental illness. It's like, yeah, and that's the sad part. It's like if you don't want to understand this thing, the only out is mental illness, and that's even sadder, because they'll start giving you drugs to suppress what abilities you have and what you're seeing and you're knowing. Drugs ain't gonna make it go away, but it's a chance for them to psychotic control over you with the drugs and whatever spiritual abilities you have. So just some things to consider. Yeah, I'm in the groove tonight. I'm talkative. I see this edibles kicking in. You're right, A-Win. If gas hits $7 in the Midwest, we'll be buying it. We're buying it. Oh yeah. Well, if it go to 10, we ain't no reason to complain about gas. We're gonna buy it no matter what. And it's like the motherfuckers sound like bitches, Oh, gas, you sound like bitches. Motherfucker, you gonna pay for it, whatever the fuck. It don't matter what gas is. You gonna pay for that shit. So yeah, definitely. Don't matter what it is. You wanna go somewhere and you ain't got to plug in, or you can Uber. You can always Uber. Mass, shit, they about to build a train that damn near come where I'm at. Matter of fact, where I went earlier today, that's where I could take the train into the city. And I'm only, where the train gonna start, I'm only, 15, 20 minutes. Not even that. If I go to Eden Prairie, it's even less. So, yeah. They make it, they're about to do a train that goes to freaking, what is it called? St. Cloud, about an hour away. Because it's a big college in St. Cloud. They're about to have a train that goes that far. They already got a train that goes to Forest Lake, I think it's called, which is an hour extremely north of us. Pretty town, big lake in the middle. The town is kind of circled around the lake. Kind of cool town. But a train to take you up there. So pay for it to take it. You sure right. Great Depression era again. Oh yeah. And shanty towns was part of the Depression. Hobos was part of the Depression. That's the thing we don't hear about anymore, but hobos. That's what they called, homeless people when I was a little boy. They called them hobos. Oh, he's a hobo. Well, where does he live? He don't live nowhere. Sound like homeless to me. That's what they was called. They come straight from the Depression. I said before, my grandfather didn't trust banks. They found $30,000 in his house. When he died and they was going through the house and about to put my grandmother in the rest home. Yeah. They found 30,000, almost got thrown away. My cousin was just having to look, and she kept finding all this cash he had hidden around the house because he didn't trust banks. And that's Depression era thinking. I mean, that's the scary thing about crypto. Shit, you got 30 racks in crypto, or you own one crypto, which is 20 racks. Shit, at one time it was 69,000. One time that if you just wrote it, it was 69,000, and now it's dropped to 20. You know, and you look at hedging. You know, you could show that you got Bitcoin at 70. 60,000 worth of Bitcoin. All the loans and credit you could get. Yeah, not afterwards. I'm guessing EMP attack can't happen. It would go to all electric cars too. Shit, gas cars as well. Gas cars wouldn't fire up. We don't have carburetors, fuel injectors. Fuel injectors, it takes a spark. So cars wouldn't start either. Regular cars wouldn't start. All of them would be dead. Except regular bikes. Tandem bikes with machine guns on them. That's what we need, the tandem bikes with the machine guns on them. That'd be funny. Tandems. So that's the problem with that. Yeah, it would knock all those out too. Self-driving cars. If you had the military had self-driving tanks or whatever, it'd knock all that shit out too. So it would go back to Molotov cocktails and dynamite, nitroglycerin. You watch an old cowboy movie when there's the best nitroglycerin is Little House on the Prairie. Watch that. How volatile that shit was. Because the farming didn't go good for Little House on the Prairie, so they had to go work in the mines in Minnesota. And they was dealing with blowing up shit. They sure blew itself up. Set the charge. Like when I was a boy, the dynamite cap was the M80. You take the M80 and you stick the M80 inside the dynamite, and you light the M80. Well, it's blasting caps is what they used to be called. You could buy blasting caps on 4th of July. I mean, this is part of dynamite, blasting caps. Because that's how you would do it. You had a thing of dynamite, you stick the M80 in it, the blasting cap, you twist it, and boom, This book was cheap. You could probably find this book. It says $16, and this book ain't, I think I got it new. I've had it for about 5 years, but you can probably get it cheaper than $16. Yeah. He's got several books, but I refer to this one a lot. This shows the basic system. And as I've said many times, it's the only book that shows you what your soul look like. Another picture of your soul. And that's him. That's a different picture of him right here. That's him. Starface, but that's your soul, the wave harmonic. The sooner that you can, deal with it being that kind of being, the further you can take it. And that's immortality right there. Right there is immortality. Like being a neutrino. They can't stop that energy. You don't feed it to them. It's up to you. So yeah, you can probably get that book for $10. I bet you can get a newer copy for $10 now. So just look it up. I think I got that book on Amazon. I got it 5 years ago. That's when Turtle Gang gave me the Time Walking Papers. It didn't end with that. I didn't just take that information and stop. It was like, wow, I've got it. No, it led me to all this other stuff. So that was just the start. I mean, they've given me, they appreciate, and the Hero Twins too, they appreciate that I talk about them. They appreciate I say more. I mean, if you understand how these ancients, I mean, look how hard that we see these religions talk about this ancient stuff, especially Babylonian, those times. You don't think Marduk and Yadabath like when their names is mentioned on this stuff? All publicity is good publicity. I say these words and these tones, whatever you think these words and tones are, I mean, it's still, I put it out there. So they don't mind that shit. They're like, this motherfucker talk like the mind. We was talking about the mind. That shit don't mind being talked about. I think he has one of his books has a definition of the mind. And it's just like, nah, this one doesn't have the definitions in the back. No. I thought it did. Let's see. No, it doesn't. Not this one. Another one of his books has definitions, and it's like the stupidest of the stupid about talking about the mind. May it be in one of Stinch's books. Yeah, I do got a little whiplash. I'm telling you, I looked down at myself and that shit killed me. I fell and looked like I broke my neck. But I'm still here. So obviously I didn't break my neck, but that's what it looked like. When I thought about if it failed, that it would break my neck. And I saw it. I saw it because when I started falling back, I switched to watching myself and I saw what happened to me. I'm like, that might kill me. I was looking at it. I looked at it, but it was more in my head than my neck. So, I talk shit about my son with a big head, but maybe I got a big head too. But I feel it tonight. Yeah. But it's beautiful up here, It's good, great sleeping weather. I had the air conditioner on for a minute. I'm putting a bedroom unit in. I got a little small air conditioner for my room, so I'm about to put that in. Just to be comfortable, that's all. And it's a shame because in the summertime, we don't have to pay as much electricity unless we got to run air. And if we got to run air, it's the same with gas. I had to pick up food today. Oh my goodness, at the casino picking up food. They're like, how many families? And I'm like, God, how many can I pick up for? And it really wasn't good stuff. I mean, corn, potatoes I gave to people, donuts, some of the worst shit. That's the only bad thing about giving food to people is a lot of the food be fucked up food. But again, is it starving or eating up fucked up food? That's kind of what it boils down to. Do you starve or do you eat a lot of sugary shit? And when you starve and you eat anything. So, yeah. No, that was their mother. Their mother, the Hero Twins did not. The Hero Twins' father and uncle were playing a game, playing the sacred ball game, and they were so loud and so big of beings that they disturbed the underworld. So the underworld brought him in and said, if we beat you, you got to stay here. And so they beat the brothers. But the one brother grew into be, some say corn, others say like what do you call the squash, like a squash. Gourd is the word I'm looking for. And the princess came and looked at the corn that had a head, and he squirted on her. She came close to it and she's like, what kind of fruit has a head? And he was like, the kind that can squirt on you. And so he skeeted on her and she went to his mother and was like, I'm about to have these twins from your son. And twins were born and, the grandmother didn't want them to find the father's, athletic equipment because that's what led to the father's demise. And of course, the Hero Twins find them. But the Hero Twins do a bunch of shit. They trick the animals into clearing the area. They trick the insects. They survive a bat attack. I mean, they survive all kind of shit by being smart, getting in the situation, being able to adapt. They show their shapeshifters. They change into monkeys at one point. And the most potent part of their story is when one of them gets their head cut off, their brother grab a pumpkin and throw the head on and say, this ain't stopping us. And that is some gangster ass shit. Cut your head off and you still attacking them. Don't stop attacking them. We go into the ass. The game is the most important thing. We have to fight even though we want to cry. As the old A&T saying, you got to fight even though you want to cry. So, and that's how it can be for you. I used to know niggas every time they would get in a fight, the motherfucker, they cried because it hurt them to have to whoop a nigga's ass or a friend's ass. Used to hurt them, used to make them mad, because they didn't want to fight. whoop a motherfucker's ass, but really didn't want to fight. Motherfucker be upset that they got to fight. Didn't really want to. Not to say they wouldn't, but they didn't want to. It hurt them. Hell, I ain't got all the answers, but I got the answers for me. And I try to share them. So I think I'm gonna cut it. I will do a divination. I'm going for 1:45. That's probably good. My daughter got some shit to do in the morning that don't involve me. So so I can stay up for a little while. I'm kind of buzzing. I took the edible sort of late. It's kind of got me talkative. These cards are just jumping in my hands. I got to start using them. Probably a lot I can get out of this. Because these kind of fractals is helpful, you know. What does that possibility do to you? Here we go. Money green. Looks like that's the color tonight. Money green. I want a money green Lincoln. I have to do the reading. These cards are just jumping out of the box. Oh. Wind's picking up. Ooh, that feels good. Got some fresh air. Wow. All right. Kimmy. Kimmy is the card. It is the death card. It is surrender, release, death, transmutation, forgiveness, humility, revelation. The end of something too. The end of something. Yeah, day 6. Yes, it's 6. Symbols is 6-sided crystal and roots, evergreen tree, moss, growth and death. Colors forest green. I want a suit that's forest green, baby. Herbs are willows, flowers gardenas. Scent is gardenia. That shit stinks. The stones are malachite, jade, emerald, moss agate. It's air element. Directions coming from the north. The shadow wisdom is feeling the need to be in control. The fear of death, which none of us should fear. Depression, struggle, and resistance. But the way to get out of it is surrender to the pattern of perfection. Listen to the part of you that is calling for death and transformation. Receive its wisdom. The mantra is hold hands together under the cheek as if sleeping. Then cross arms on chest while bowing. Raising head, crossed arms, front of eyes. Meditation is I am the fuel, mulch, and fodder of destruction of all obstacles to reconstruction in source. I release, I let go, I surrender, I forgive. Another thing is it's the end of something or the completion. So that's the good thing about death coming in 2 cards. It's a normal part of your if the death comes on the 6th day, and I think it's the 15th day, it's part of your cycle, so you're not afraid of it, because the death of the 6th card is really just trying to tell you that it's the end of something and new beginnings, almost like the Phoenix. That's why the 15 card, I think, is more like the Phoenix card, so this is the end of a cycle. That's all. So that's all death is the end of the cycle. So Well, I guess I have to read it off the top of my head. I don't see where I have Mora. But Mora, it all starts with a gentle sadness. They knew that, I'm forgetting, is it right here? No, why is it gone? Mora, it all starts with a gentle sadness. They knew that they had a limited time as a culture and a civilization. But the civilization would build to a gentle love. They lived in the Creator's day and knew how to separate cycles in the great serpent, which is the Milky Way. And remember, dealing with people. And Brother Bomber used this as I listen to my shit. I am another yourself. That is what the Mayans would say. So treat others. Be able to, if you want to possess someone, do the eyes of Laura Marsh, the eyes of Laura Marsh. Be able to go into that person and be able to look through their eyes, look through their opinion as you deal with them. So, and remember, love just is. Love just is. Too many people love because they love back. If you love me, I love you back. That's not love. That's a condition. Love has no conditions, no equals, no opposite. Love just is. And in closing, the days are long, but the years are short. So keep that in mind. So this has been the Chocolate Mountain Show. I've been your super funky host, Abe Wind, Big Pontiac, Time Lord. Hockey game tomorrow night. So be on around the same time. Follow Super Sly. He's a tough act to follow, but I'll be following. If he comes on, he says he's coming on a little earlier, but I'll still be on at midnight or shortly after. So whenever it works, I enjoy hearing his steps. So I don't mind being patient and following. It's all good. So this has been the Chocolate Mountain Show. I've been your host, Big Pontiac. Thank you for joining me. Till we meet again, say less. I can tell people just be into my shit.